Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist James Longworth with Dynamic Weather Agency, LLC. Today, we're going to be talking about our next storm system, this next major winter storm system that's going to be bringing impacts to parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast with that disturbance we see moving through parts of the Central Plains into the Ohio Valley and Midwest region with some of that snowfall occurring across parts of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and even the parts of Illinois this afternoon. And to take a closer look towards the southeast, that disturbance is going to interact with kind of this weak boundary surface low system beginning to develop down there across parts of the southeast, where we have some rain conditions occurring all the way across there. And you can even see as we move closer towards kind of the Florida, just off the Florida coast, we can see we have some of these stronger storm cells beginning to develop across that area this morning. You can see some of the lightning with some of these storms this morning. And we do have the threat for some severe weather across this area today and even into tomorrow. But first, before I get into today's video, I do want to encourage you guys to hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family so we can help make them weather aware before the weather happens. Be sure to check us out on social media where you can send us your weather related photos and videos that we might share and feature you guys in our next and future upcoming videos. The links to our social media pages are down below in the description. You can also visit us online at dynamicweatheragency.com, again, for more weather related information and content. At last but not least, be sure to check us out on our Patreon page to help support this channel so I can continue to make weather-related content like this, storm chasing videos like you can see on our channel, and also fund some of our research we have going on here at Dynamic Weather Agency, LLC. Again, we have many different packages and tiers with early access, exclusive content, and live QAs, and some more exclusive perks for our Patreon subscribers. Again, those links are down below in the description. Now, getting into today's video, taking a look at today's video's headlines. First, we're going to be talking about our current National Weather Service hazards, those winter weather watches, warnings, and advisories. Then we're going to be talking about our winter storm severity index. Then we're going to be taking a look at our next winter storm system, snow conditions to impact parts of the Central Plains, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. We'll be taking a look at our weather models and our forecasted accumulated snowfall across these regions. We'll also be talking about that polar vortex and frigid temperatures coming on in with this deep upper level trough moving on into the region, along with our threats for severe weather today and tomorrow and even further on after that. So taking a look at our winter storm system, taking a look at those National Weather Service current watches, warnings, and advisories. Take a look at those winter weather advisories. Those are in those purple colors, and those winter storm warnings are in those pinks, and then we have those winter storm watches in those blue indigo colors. Now, taking a closer look at the central United States into parts of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, you can see those winter weather advisories with that disturbance moving through today, impacting places like Kansas City, Columbia, Springfield, Peoria, Kankakee, Davenport, Des Moines, Omaha, places like Chicago, Grand Rapids, and Traverse City, and those winter weather advisories this afternoon. Now, taking a look at parts of the Mid-Atlantic into parts of the Northeast, those pinks again are those winter storm warnings affecting places like Roanoke, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York. You can see those areas affected in those pink colors. Again, we have those winter weather advisories around that. We do have some winter storm watches for places like Boston and even just west of Philadelphia, a couple counties right there in those winter storm watches that will probably be upgraded to winter storm warnings within later on today or into tomorrow morning. As we take a look at parts of like Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, we do have some of those winter weather advisories around there, still continuing with some lake effect snow conditions expected to continue over there today. Taking a look at the Northwest, we do have some winter storm warnings, some winter weather advisories, and even some winter storm watches still in effect for some of these areas up here, parts of the northern Rockies and parts of the Cascade Mountain region further to the west in Washington State. Again, expecting we have some upper level moisture moving on through the region, along with that Alberta Clipper system we're going to be expecting moving out of Alberta into parts of the northern plains and the central United States, bringing some snowfall to those regions. Now, taking a look at our winter storm severity index. So what components are going into this index? First is taking a look at the snow amount and snowfall rates. It's also taking a look at the snow load or the weight of the snow. So basically, is this going to be kind of a thin, wispy type snow, or is this going to be a wet, heavy snow? It's also taking a look at wind conditions, basically the possibility for blowing or drifting snow, along with, with that blowing and drifting snow, could we see visibility restrictions for the possibility for some blizzard conditions, along with the potential for surfaces to become ice covered and the amount of ice accumulation with that flash freeze and ice. Now, taking a look at our day 1 winter storm severity index, taking a look at parts of the Central Plains, Ohio Valley region. Again, we're looking on our radar this morning. We had that, this radar. Now, taking a look at our day 1 winter storm severity index, this is for today. Taking a look at the Central Plains into Ohio Valley region, we are looking at that disturbance on radar this afternoon, moving on through that region. Again, we're going to see some impacts with some snowfall moving through that area on today. Again, like we said, we had some of that rain occurring across parts of the southeast with that kind of like low pressure system moving on through the area. Now, disturbance is going to interact with that. We're going to see this new low pressure system begin to develop. We're going to see this cyclone begin to bring impacts and snowfall to parts of the mid-Atlantic region, and we'll start to see that right up the eastern coast as we move into day 2 in our winter storm severity index. It's going to be bringing some heavy snowfall to that region. As we take a look across places like New York, again, we're seeing across parts of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, some of those impacts due to that lake effect snow banning that we were talking about yesterday in our video, and still continuing through parts of today. As we take a look at parts of the Rocky Mountains, the Northern Rockies, and even the Cascades, we do have some minor, moderate, and even major impacts in those regions. Again, some of that significant impacts are mostly affecting parts of the higher elevation regions due to the enhanced snowfall due to orographic lift in those regions. As we move into day 2, again, the Rocky Mountain regions, we still could see some, snowfall across that area due to some disturbances, some, mid upper level moisture moving on through the region and orographic lift. But as we move into parts of the Northeast, take a look as we have that cyclone develop across parts of the Mid-Atlantic. We're going to start seeing that system kind of right along that eastern coast again, kind of like what the previous system did. And again, I think this system is kind of a little bit further off the coast than what I think the models are probably projecting it. Probably going to be a little bit further on inland. Probably see some updates on this tomorrow, with that system probably being a little bit further on inland than what some of the models were projecting. But again, let's take a closer look at some of these impacts. You can see places like Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, southeastern New York, even parts of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, those moderate to even major impacts due to some significant snowfall that could occur across this region. As we move into day 3, just very limited impacts. We're not expecting much. We're going to see some high pressure begin to build back in behind kind of some of these systems and stuff that have some residual snow showers moving on across the area, but not expecting any significant snowfall that will cause any major disruptions for people on day 3. Again, those minor impacts roughly equate to those NWS advisory level criteria, with minor disruptions primarily those who are not prepared, with none to minimal recovery time needed, while those moderate impacts, again, roughly equate to those NWS warning level criteria, like those winter storm warnings, with definite impacts to those with little to no preparation, perhaps a day or two of recovery time to allow for these road crews and some of that snowfall to subside. So taking a look at our Futurecast Radar, this is one of our weather models. We have that disturbance moving through parts of the Central Plains into the Ohio Valley region. As you can see, that snowfall moving across parts of Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa today, interacting with this kind of weak boundary low pressure system along the southeast coast with that deep upper level trough moving on in, and that area of energy is going to provide some upper level support for some cyclogenesis to develop on the lee side of the Appalachian Mountain region, where we're going to see this new low pressure system begin to develop. As you can see, that low moving across parts of the east coast, writing that thermal boundary, that deep upper level trough. You're going to see that, that snowfall occurring on that northwest side of that low pressure system, where that cool pool of air is going to be, along with some of that moisture wrapping around that low pressure system that's going to allow for some significant snowfall across parts of the northeast. Behind that, we got an Alberta Clipper system moving on in. You can see that system moving across parts of the Central Plains to the Midwest Ohio Valley region, eventually making its way across parts of the Northeast and even to parts of the upper mid-Atlantic region, with high pressure, again, building back in behind that system. Taking a look at this again, we got that disturbance moving through parts of the central United States, interacting with that low pressure system across parts of the southeast, providing upper level support for a new low pressure system to develop along the eastern coast of the United States. That low pressure system is, again, like we said, we're going to ride that thermal boundary along the east coast. You can see that snowfall occurring along that northwest side of that low pressure system, some snow enhancements along the Appalachian Mountain region. And again, we're going to have that nice isentropic lift and that moist air advection along that warm sector, that low pressure system that's going to allow for some snowfall or some heavy snowfall across parts of the northeast. Behind that system, Alberta Clipper system moving across parts of the Central Plains, impacting parts of the Midwest Ohio Valley region. See that new low pressure system begin to develop, moving its way across parts of the northern mid-Atlantic into the northeast, and high pressure building back in behind that system. So as we take a look at our weather models for accumulated snowfall, this is the European model solution for the next 72 hours. Across the Pacific Northwest, again, all the models are going to be showing some significant snowfall across that region. Again, we got some moisture moving on through that area. We got some orographic lift and some cold temperatures at the peaks of those mountains. This is going to allow for some very significant snowfall across that region. You can also see kind of that clipper system track. We have that disturbance moving on through parts of the Central Plains into the Ohio Valley today, and then we're going to see another clipper system move in behind that. So some of that area in the Central Plains, like Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, this is kind of the snowfall for kind of 2 weak systems moving on through the region. As we take a look at part of the mid-Atlantic, we're saying we're going to expect to see this new low pressure system begin to develop across that area. On the backside of that low pressure system, we have very cold temperatures along with some of the enhanced lift of the Appalachian Mountain Region. You can see some of that, enhanced snowfall across parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Appalachian Mountain Region with that low pressure system moving its way off the eastern coast, not bringing that much significant snowfall to the northeast according to this model solution. Again, the models were showing this with that last major winter storm system that moved through parts of the northeast. It was depicting that system further off the eastern coast, where the models were depicting kind of a weak trough moving through with the Arctic jet, along with possibly not as strong of a thermal boundary across parts of the eastern coast, as we do expect to still kind of see similar conditions. We believe the models are just having trouble with this. We believe the system is going to be further to the west, bringing some more snowfall inland. As you saw, that Futurecast radar that we're showing during that model solution was showing that system further inland, bringing some more significant snowfall to parts of the northeast. As we take a look at the GFS model solution, again, you can see some of the discontinuities between the weather models, except for in parts of the Cascades and northern Rocky Mountain region. Other than that, the weather models are showing some discontinuity across parts of the Central Plains in Nebraska. You can see where there's some of those darker blues and even some of those purples beginning to develop. That part could be due to model resolution. The European model is a little bit of a lower resolution model as compared to the GFS model. So that could be part of that reason right there. But take a look at the Appalachian Mountain Region, not as much snowfall, and even across parts of the northeast with this major winter storm system that we're expecting to see develop. The UK Met, even similar conditions, showing a little bit more of the GFS across parts of the Central Plains with those 2 clipper systems, the disturbance moving on through today, and the Alberta Clipper system moving in behind that. Across parts of the mid-Atlantic and even to the northeast, again, discontinuities between the models right here. Same thing with the Germany icon. Germany icon, similar conditions to the European model solution. Again, the only difference is, the GFS was not showing, kind of that dip of snow across parts of Missouri right here. Let's see, there's my mouse. Across parts of Missouri right here, as the GFS model was showing, even parts of the UK Met and the Germany icon, they're kind of showing this little extra disturbance of snow across parts of Missouri. Other than that, the GFS, the UK Met, this is kind of like almost a blend between almost those models right here. Again, this model is at least showing some of that snowfall across parts of the mid-Atlantic and even to the northeast. You can see some of those significant snowfall totals right there. Some 7s and 6s across parts of eastern PA, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Connecticut and Rhode Island within that region on the Germany icon model. As you take a look at the Canadian model, similar to, I guess you can say, the European and even maybe the Germany icon, a little bit discontinuities on the tracks of some of these systems with that too. Now, my favorite model and kind of my more best solution, I would say, is probably this National Weather Service blend of models. This is my kind of favorite model when it comes to winter weather forecasting. It has steered me wrong a couple of times, but generally it does pretty good. As you can see across parts of the Pacific Northwest, again, significant snowfall, and then we have these kind of clipper systems moving on through. We have that disturbance moving through today, and we have this next clipper system moving in behind that. You see some of this snowfall totals we can see with this system. I do believe this area of 5 to 8 inches of snow seems kind of rather likely, as the model solution's been projecting this for the past couple of days across this region. It hasn't really changed much, so I do believe this, NWS blended model solution is the best. Again, this is also a good solution because it's taking a look at multiple models and blending them together. So it's taking a consensus kind of with this. You can see some of that lake effect snow continuing across parts of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario with this system. This model is also a pretty high resolution model. And again, you can see some of that snowfall across parts of the mid-Atlantic, moving its way across parts of the Northeast. Again, I do believe some of this is going to be shifting its way further westward as these models are not depicting. You can even see the National Weather Service's forecast. Taking a look at the Northeast, look, they kind of shifted this a little bit westward across parts of the Northeast and parts of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and even parts of New Jersey right here. But again, I still see this more western shift of some of this across this region, quite possible. Maybe not much of a western shift, but definitely possibly a more western shift that could bring some more snowfall across this region. Again, I do agree with kind of the solution with the National Weather Service forecast with that National Weather Service blend of models right here for that potential for some 5 to even 8 inches of snowfall across parts of Nebraska, northern Kansas, Missouri, and even into Iowa with this solution. Again, I am in agreement with some of these significant lake effect snow conditions across parts of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. With the backside of that low pressure system, we're going to have a long fetch across those lakes, bringing some extra moisture to those systems, allowing for some nice lake effect snow banding, as we're seeing some of that banding still continue today. We saw some yesterday and even continue through the next couple of hours, even with some snowfall with that system moving on through the region. As we take a look at our in-house model for the next 72 hours and stuff like that, taking a closer look at the Central Plains and even to parts of the Great Lakes and Midwest region, I do agree with our in-house model and some of that NWS blended models. You can see we have that area of 5 to 8 inches of snow for places like Grand Island, St. Joseph, Omaha, southern portions of Omaha, and even to Fort Madison, Quincy. You can see that area of 5 to 8 inches of snow. We agree that's a pretty good model consistency for that possibility for that to happen. Also, some possibility for some area of 5 to 8 lake effect snow across parts of Lake Michigan and parts of southwestern Michigan with this model solution. Taking a look at the mid-Atlantic across this region, you can see some of that snowfall confined where some of the heaviest snowfall is going to be across parts of the Appalachian Mountain Region. I do believe there could be some areas of 5 to 8 inches of snow within this region due to some of that enhanced lift and also some of that moisture advection and isentropic lift across the area, allowing for some of that moisture to wrap around the deformation zone into the calm ahead of this developing low pressure system that should enhance some snowfall across this area, along with some enhanced snowfall rates with snowfall rates of about 1 to 1.5 inches per hour across this region due to the kind of that short wave and some of the upper level support that should enhance some of the snowfall across this region. Now, taking a look at the Northeast, taking a look at parts like Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, again, that's going to be due to some lake effect snow across that region, where we're seeing some of those more enhanced snowfall totals across that region. Now, as we take a look at this low pressure system, like we said, most of the weather models are suggesting the system to stay further off the eastern coast. And again, we still think this system is going to be further to the west. You see how this model is depicting, kind of New Haven, New Bedford, Boston, even Portland, kind of within that 5 to 8 inches of snow within this region. Now, take a look at kind of what these next two solutions we could possibly see if the system tracks a little bit further to the west. Now, take a look at this solution. Now, if this system moves a little bit further to the west, this is one of the solution possibilities we could see. We could see like New Haven, Bedford, Springfield, Boston, Manchester, even maybe like Portland. Could possibly see, maybe now 8 to 12 inches of snow. You can see that system moving further to the west. Now we have places like Philadelphia, New York, Allenstown, Scranton, Albany. Now within that area, 5 to 8 inches of snow. Now take a look at this solution too. If the system continues to have that kind of westward movement, you can see how much more snowfall that could be projected across this region. Now we believe we're kind of maybe somewhere in the middle between these kind of two solutions within this region for snowfall totals across this area. So we'll post both of these maps on our website so you guys can kind of have an idea of kind of about how much snowfall you could be expecting across this region. Again, like we said, the last system we depicted that out about 4 to 5 days out, that the system was further off the east coast than what was projected. And again, we still think that's going to be the same with this system. The system's going to track further to the west, going to ride that thermal boundary along the coast, dumping a lot of snowfall as we saw that one model solution of our Futurecast radar bringing that system further to the west, bringing some enhanced snowfall. We're going to see a lot of that moisture wrap around that low pressure system, around the deformation zone and that calm head. We got nice cool temperatures behind that backside of that low pressure system that will enhance some of those liquid to snow ratios across that area. So we will see some snowfall and possibly some significant snowfall across parts of the Northeast again. Taking a look at the Pacific Northwest for the snow, again, those mountain snow conditions. Take a look at just how much snowfall some of those areas of the northern Rockies and even parts of Cascades can see. Some of those bright pinks and even those very light pink colors within that region, indicating 16 to 24 to even greater than 2 feet of snowfall across this region. Now, as we've been mentioning, the polar vortex and that blast of frigid cold air. Take a look at our Arctic oscillation, with this. You can see that little bit of a dip of our Arctic oscillation. We have pretty much negative conditions within this, but we're going to see some even more negative conditions with the weakening of our polar vortex. Is going to allow the weakening of those upper level winds. Is going to allow for the spill of some of that cold air to move on into parts of the northern United States. Just take a look at some of the current temperatures this afternoon across parts of the northern plains and even the Midwest as we take a closer look at these areas. Many places in the single digits or below zero. You can even see some of those, current temperatures right now. Negative 15, 18, 17. International Falls, negative 17 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are some very cold, frigid temperatures, again, with this, weakening of our polar vortex is allowing for some of this cold air to spill on into the region. You can see some of those 24-hour temperature changes and those 24-hour temperature anomalies. We had very cold temperatures across parts of the upper plains and Midwest yesterday, so some of these temperatures are just a little bit colder than what they were yesterday, but take a look at parts of the, Rocky Mountain region, even parts of the northern and central plains further to the west. We have these extreme differences in temperatures today, about 20 to 30 degrees cooler than what they were yesterday. As we take a look, our temperatures over the next couple of days, you can just see some of that cold Arctic air is just not going anywhere. Very anomalous, below average temperatures are expected to continue across this region. Again, taking a look at our European ensemble, below average temperatures, 10 to even 20, even 30 degrees below average for some of these locations across parts of the northern plains and Midwest. Parts of the Southwest can see some above average temperatures with the kind of this ridge moving across the area. That's why we're seeing these clipper systems kind of ride down that, upper level ridge into this broad, deep upper level trough moving across parts of the central United States. Now take a look at our Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook. Take a look at those dark blues. We're basically approaching the very end of our below normal temperature scale across these regions. You can see that nice big bullseye across parts of the central United States. And this deep upper level trough and these cold conditions are not really going to go anywhere over the next couple of days. So we're expecting those well below average and well below normal temperatures as depicted by our European ensemble 2-meter temperature anomaly chart that we showed on our previous slide. Again, those above average temperatures across parts of the southwestern United States with that upper level ridge across the area, bringing some warmer conditions to that area. I don't know about you, but for me, I do not like these cold temperatures. Winter is like one of my least favorite times of the year, my least favorite season. So I can't wait until we get back into spring and summer where we start seeing some warmer conditions begin to move back on in. Now, taking a look at our National Weather Service maximum temperature forecast for Sunday, February 7th. Take a look at some of these maximum temperatures for parts of the northern plains and even the Midwest. A lot of areas seeing max temperatures in the single digits or below 0 degrees across some of these areas, with the maximum low temperature of maximum high temperature, the lowest maximum high temperature, across the area around negative 17 degrees Fahrenheit for parts of very northern North Dakota and Minnesota, where some areas can see some very cold, frigid temperatures with this Arctic blast. See some of those squares depicted on the map. Some of those squares are depicting areas that could see some record low maximum temperatures as forecasted by the National Weather Service. Not only are the high temperatures, going to be rather low. Now let's take a look at some of these low temperatures forecasted for Monday, February 8th. A lot of areas seeing temperatures in the single digits, the teens, and even below 0 degrees. With some of those temperatures, negative 15, negative 20, even approaching negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are some frigid temperatures and some deadly temperatures, especially if you're outside for too long within some of these areas during those low temperatures. So this is going to be a very cold morning commute for some of you people across parts of the northern plains and even parts of the upper Midwest region, and even across parts of the Midwest and even the Northeast. I mean, just much of the United States is going to see some very cold temperatures during your Monday morning commutes to work on that day. So be prepared and be bundled up for this day as you can see some of those very cold temperatures. And remind you, these are forecasted low temperatures. These are not wind chills, so those wind chills can be even colder across this region. Now, taking a look at our severe weather, we do have some severe weather forecasted across parts of Florida today and tomorrow. Taking a look at our Storm Prediction Center Day 1 convective outlook, we do have a slight risk for severe storms across parts of Florida today. Taking a closer look at our Day 1 severe weather outlook for places like Tampa, Orlando, Daytona Beach, Melbourne, you're within that slight risk for severe storms. This slight risk is being driven by the probability for some damaging winds and some isolated large hail across the region today, along with a very marginal tornado risk across parts of Florida today. Fort Myers, Sarasota, West Palm Beach, Jacksonville, you're within that marginal risk for severe storms today. As we move into Day 2, again, across parts of Florida, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather. This is going to be affecting places like Sarasota, Fort Myers, Orlando, Cape Canaveral, Melbourne, and even Daytona Beach. This is primarily going to be driven due to marginal damaging wind gusts and a marginal tornado threat across the region. After those 2 days, we're not expecting much, again, with severe storms, so nothing forecasted past Day 2 at this time. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. Be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends and family if you haven't already. Again, be sure to check us out on social media and on our website, dynamicweatheragency.com. Again, those links are down below in the description. I am meteorologist James Longworth signing off for today. You guys have a great and wonderful day, and be sure to stay tuned for tomorrow's video.